Hi guys, welcome back to the Watching Garage. You're probably here because of part one. Part one was the actual finished video I did for you guys, showing you everything what I turned this trailer into. But I knew it would generate a lot of questions and a lot of how'd you do this. So I thought it was wise for me to create part two. In part two, this is going to be more of a picture slideshow. I took a lot of pictures when I built this camper. So this is just going to be like a step-by-step of when I built this camper, and hopefully you should be able to get the gist of how I built it, how I structurally did certain things, how I insulated the walls, and built the beds, and how I kind of laid things out. You'll notice in plenty of the pictures there'll be some slideshows or some. I use templates a lot. I put tapes on the floor. I did a lot of stuff like that. Planning was like the #1 thing you can do on this thing. I actually planned this camper out like 3 weeks in advance. I mean, I just on pen and paper, just drew it out. And you'll also notice when I was building cabinets, I had the refrigerator over here, and it's one of the things where on paper it looked good, and then when I moved it over here, I was like, I don't like it. I didn't like it at all. So I ended up hacking the cabinets back, and I moved it over here. And I think it was probably the best move because now I got this continuation of countertops across here. So that's just something you just kind of you do on the fly. But it's just part of the thing when you're doing it yourself. But no, I hope this will help you guys on anything you can do. Hopefully you maybe give you some inspiration on maybe building a project you got. Don't necessarily have to be a trailer, anything like that. But if you guys have any questions, please leave them down below. If you can, timestamp it if you have a particular question versus to a particular picture. That would help me out a lot. And but that's the biggest thing, to help each other out in building our projects. I guess here we go. Let's let it roll. Alright, this is the day I actually brought the camper home for the first time. Kind of opened stuff up and just kind of prepping it to get ready for what I had in plan for it. You can see some of the items I had. The toilet was given to me, the sink, and stuff like that. And here I'm just laying the floor out and just kind of get an overall plan. So I ended up taking all the carpet off, all the plugs, and stuff like that. And I'm just pretty much stripping these walls down to the bare metal. It wasn't too hard, just kind of time consuming thing. I need to take it all out, and then I'll need to insulate it, and then run all the wiring and stuff like that to get done. So the only way to do that is take it all the way back down to bare metal. Right here is one of the air conditioner was actually installed up front. I ended up moving it in the back. Right here, as I'm prepping the floor, you can see I epoxied it. This is a really easy process. I actually have a video on this if you want to know how to do this. It's pretty simple. If you can paint with a roller and it's like that, it's pretty much that simple. I did one coat of this, I did the sprinkles on it, and then I did a clear coat of the epoxy on top of it. Real simple process. I love the way it turns out. This is just a trip. I went down to Home Depot. Home Depot or Lowe's where I really got most of my stuff. But then you can see right here, I'm just doing all the insulation. The easiest thing is what you do, you lay it down like this, and then you get the metal strip, and then you just score it on one side, and it buckles it, and that way you can buckle it, and then you push it into place. Makes it really easy. So I just go around pretty much just insulating the entire camper. There was some insulation here, but I didn't care for it because it's like that like traditional insulation, and I was afraid if it ever got any water or anything like that, it would suck up, because that stuff is really bad about sucking up and sponging up water. But that's what I ended up doing. I just pretty much did all the walls. I redid all the. Here I am running the electrical. I just kind of taped everything in place and kind of marked everything down. I put the original wall back on. You can see some plugs that I added into the wall. And I did just for one, just support, stability, insulation, and they're already cut for this trailer, so it just made sense to put it back on. But this is the finished wall I put on. Pretty much just reskinned the entire wall system. Obviously only doing the cutouts that I needed for the plugs. And here I am laying the floor out again because I've epoxied it. And I just pretty much used these 2x2s and I framed it up like traditional framing. Nothing really crazy. Just laid it on the floor. I pre-drilled everything, screw it together. It went together pretty quick. And this is the beginning of my kitchen cabinets. I believe these are, these are lower. And you'll eventually see here in a minute where I actually did some modifications. But no, I just, in every little cabinet, I just built this little skeleton of it. Like the box, you know, and it was really easy making the box, and you just throw it up there where you need it, and then screw it in place and level it in place, and made it easy. But that was the box for my refrigerator, microwave, and stuff like that goes. And this is where it is on the left. And now I'm building the upper cabinets above my first kitchen layout. Like I said, just lay everything down, screw it all together, make the little template out of it. And it's pretty much just literally that simple. I'm putting the flooring into it because it's a lot easier to do this when the cabinet is out like this. If you put it in there first, or after you install the box on the or not the box, the framing on the walls, it'd be really hard. So I went ahead and just put the flooring in, cut it out, and then here I am. I put it up on the wall. And this is where I really start getting the gist of the kitchen layout and how I didn't like how that corner back there, like a really dead corner. So I tore it all out, redid it, and moved the refrigerator over to the thing. I built a whole new cabinet on the top right here. This is for my my kitchen sink area, which I just attached to the existing thing, and this is just a layout, a visual of what my counter is going to be. I used this stuff on all the walls, just like a protection. This is my water connections. I did the pump, accumulator. Here's my hot water heater on. I actually ended up starting to do my electrical system. It's pretty intimidating at first, but when you actually do it, it's really not that bad of a thing. And then I start to do the AC brace for my the air conditioner because it was in the front hole and I ended up moving it to the middle hole, so I had to add bracing in there. So I did this whole mock-up thing. I believe I ended up taking it all down and spray painting it like that. But this just gives extra support for the air conditioner because it weighs a little bit. You're going down the road and it's kind of bouncing on the road. So you really want some extra support for this. Ended up putting the roof all back into it. This is an access hole. It's right behind my shower that I did on the outside. It was literally just cut and trace. I traced it and cut it, and I riveted it in there. Pretty simple to do. This is the wall that's going to go right behind my shower. And this wall actually gave me that 90-degree corner that I needed for my shower. So it was a way I achieved that. I'm pretty much just trying to finish out the bathroom here and doing all the walls. And this is that little Craig jig. I use this little Craig jig a lot on my, especially the cabinets and stuff like that. Because like right here, I do the faceplate. So I built a little skeleton out of that 2x2, but then I came back with 1x2 and 1x3, different sizes. Depends how what you want. And I just made a faceplate for the cabinet. So you make this giant faceplate, and then once you're done with it, that's what I'm dealing with. And then I just slap it up there, and I ended up nailing it in place, and it really changes the cabinets. And while I'm doing it, I had the winch. I had to make like a little plate for it to mount on the ground because I wanted it real low. It's supposed to like mount on a receiver hitch or something like that. But I just modified this board right here that goes all the way down to the floor, the subfloor, and it should be pretty work pretty good for that. But you can see I'm tidying it up a little bit here. I had to move the camper around a little bit. I'm starting to hook up some of the electrical, the plugs, and the lights, and getting that all hooked up. I got some of the lights up in the center here. Doing some of the trim. It seemed like I was doing trim forever, but eventually it stops and you're done. Here's my little winch access cover. I showed you there's my little shoe compartment I built. You don't necessarily need one of these, but it makes it really handy. And just another reason to buy another tool, so that's always good. So I use my little Dremel. I cut the back side of this is the cabinet door frame, and I dremeled around it like that. And then I bought the panels, or built the panels that will actually go in that slot. And of course I stained them before I did that to give it that different set. But see right here, I just slap them in there, I staple it down, and that's literally my cabinet doors. Nothing special, nothing crazy, but it's simple. But I think they came out pretty good. Of course I put that polyurethane on it, just kind of protect them. It's like that, easy to clean. These are some of the knobs I used for it. And then I started building the shower. I had to build like a base for my shower, the pan that goes in there. Had to build it up. And then I ended up just throwing my pan in there, screwing it to the walls. And then I had the corner piece. And I bought this as two separate pieces. I ended up buying it together, just glued it in place. This is my bathroom cabinet I built. This is another cabinet I was building across there. Here I am building another, the face plate. I believe this is the long one here. Lengthen. It's just the same thing I did on the cabinets. There it is on the top right. Just slowly getting all these cabinets put together. I kept everything kind of high at this point because if I put a car in there, I wanted it no interference. This is just my kitchen counters. I had to piece those one piece together to make it, but I just pretty much sanded it down, stained it. I threw some polyurethane on top of it. The same stain I used in all the other the faces like that. Threw my sink in there. Came in here and I trimmed out my kitchen, or not my kitchen, my bathroom. Added a little plumbing in it. Of course, you always have to have a leak when you're doing plumbing, so that was my one little leak of the day. I put my extended table up here. These little brackets, which allows me to pull my car all the way up. I built the doors for the top cabinets there. It's slowly coming together. It's getting real close at this point, but it's always the last minute details that really bring it together. And this is my little outside bar table that I utilized that concession stand for. This is when I got all the lights. These are the lights I did, loading lights for the back, so at dark, if I'm loading up a car or whatever, it gives me plenty of light on the back. So I think I got almost all the electrical done at this point. This is my fan in the bathroom. Just in the last minute trim. I think the bathroom was like the last thing I trimmed up. Added the lights underneath the cabinets. These are the lights, you know, stringing everything up. I ended up putting a piece of paneling underneath there to make it look all nice. And then I added those fancy little coloring lights, change colors. Did the same things on the outside. They go, and these are the two switches I use. Those switches allow me to do outside or inside. And this is to frame it up for my beds. These are the beds that fold up. This is just raw steel that I got from the steel yard. And I ended up cutting it all together, hinges. It took a lot of fabrication, really, a lot of measuring, drilling, and stuff like that. But this is the plate that allows it matching or mounting to the wall right here. So I test fit everything. I put it all in there, made sure it all worked. I ended up ripping everything back out. I painted it all up because I wanted it to be all nice and, you know, it's like that. I tested the beds one last time. This is where I had a little fun building the legs. But I eventually got those figured out, and there's my beds. And then I ended up just ordering of course I ordered the mattresses before I did this because I had to have something to measure off of. So I custom made this bed for these mattresses. I got them at one of the RV stores. And this is the same thing. It's actually easier on the back bed because there's only one hinge on it, so I didn't have to sync everything up. But this is our big bed in the back. And that's what it is with both my beds up. Now you see the two little nightstands I added on the side. Those fold down as well. But I definitely put plenty of lights on this thing. My wife was like, you got a lot of lights, but I just like having plenty of light. Where you need it and when you need it, like that. I think I've ended up finishing up the bathroom right here. I got to do the countertop in there. I ended up trimming the fan out. I think I ended up finished putting the air conditioner on it. Alright guys, that's all the pictures I have at the time of the camper. If you somehow stumbled on this one and haven't seen part 1, and if you want to see the final product, go to part 1. I'll link it down in the description, and this will give you the final product. I say final because there actually is a couple little things I need to get finished in the camper. There's a little bit of trim work I gotta do, and then I gotta do the E-Track system for if I ever pull a car in here, which I do plan on pulling a car in here. But no, if you haven't watched part 1, and that'll give you a better end result on it. But then, as always, leave those comments down below. I appreciate you guys sticking around. If you can, like and subscribe to my channel if you like what I'm doing. But until next time, guys, take care.